I'm on here. Right now. I mean, I'm recording myself. I'm trying to soothe. I'm trying to soothe inner pain, I guess. It's actually why I'm on here a lot. A little nauseated too. I was gonna say nauseous, but I know that that's the incorrect grammar usage. So the term is nauseated, but I'm a little nauseated too right now. I'm not sure. Probably because I had pizza for dinner and cheese upsets my stomach, and who cares about that? Today I watched TV all day. I don't think I've even turned it on in a year. Probably about a year. And today I just watched Lifetime Movie Network, and just all day long I watched one rather gruesome show after another. I mean, the story of BTK, who was not just a serial killer, but a total idiot too. Unfathomable, really. I mean, to even call somebody like that an idiot, but I love how they caught the bastard. I don't know. Had a revelation. I've had several revelations lately due to actually having a change in routine. And my usual routine is sometimes I get online. Well, most of the time I'm online. Most of the time I'm on YouTube, in fact, watching videos and watching documentaries and reading news watching like videos of news and watching videos of stupid things and watching videos of people struggling and commenting on some things that get me yelled at, but that I don't really care about, because the haters here, all the people hating here, and the ridiculous hatred that you see on YouTube, mean, stupid hatred, where somebody can be crying their eyes out and they could have lost their entire family in a tragic accident, and and they're hurting and they're devastated, and some ridiculous asshole will actually get on there and say, ha ha ha, I'm glad your whole family's dead, and LOL. And you immediately have absolutely no respect for that person, and you realize that person is basically just taking up space on the planet that they don't need to be taking up. They're breathing oxygen that good people need. I guess I'm in a crappy mood tonight. I guess I am. I'm sorry. I am. Maybe it comes from, instead of being introspective, watching TV and I spent the whole day yelling at the TV. That's what I do. I yell at it, or I say nice things to it too. The people on the show, when you have no life, when you have nobody to interact with, you kind of do things like that. I talk to myself all the time too. And I answer myself, and I've been doing that for years, and I realize how weird that is. It really is, but I'm pretty enlightening conversationalist with myself. Not so great with anybody else, but at times I am. But I'm just rambling in this. I realize I'm just rambling. I have no topic. I'm just trying to get the pain out. Right now, I'm just trying to get the pain out. And it's partly withdrawal from medication that I've run out of, including my pain medication. So now I'm in pain. I've run out of my pain medication. And I need to go to the pharmacy and pick up all my medications, which I've run out of several of them, including antidepressants. It's really brilliant. And I just can't seem to get there. One day I went out, a couple days ago, and I bought a bunch of groceries, and I didn't make it to the other side of town. I forgot that I needed to go there to get my meds, and I never got over there, and I never got them, and so I'm in pain right now. I mean, I'm in physical pain right now, and I'm in emotional pain right now, I guess. And the emotional pain isn't based on anything that happened today, except maybe just watching cruelty on TV, watching people be cruel to other people, people murder other people, people be hateful to other people, and it's very discouraging, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me why one person would want to take other people's lives, why they would want somebody's dog to die. I don't get that. Or just people, being stupid and arguing and meanly. I hate meanness. I hate meanness. Meanness is very illogical because meanness, people who are mean, they act that way toward other people, but they don't want to be treated that way themselves. And so that's very illogical. It's very illogical. I'm going to, be mean to you, and I'm going to be disrespectful to you, and I'm going to slam you, and I'm going to make little jabs at you, and I'm going to talk about you behind your back. But don't you dare do that to me, because that would be wrong. This is the attitude that a lot of people have. And it's stupid. It's a stupid attitude. But I did have a revelation, and I guess I said that. My shoulder hurts, so I'm propping my arms up. Sorry. My camera work isn't so great. My camera is just my phone, so, it's just kind of like, anyway, I made myself dizzy there. I have a roommate temporarily, a friend who needed a place to stay. And so she's been staying in one of my 2 other bedrooms, and so I've had just somebody around, and before I didn't have anybody around, except for my dog, and I adore my dog. I love my dog. But having a human being around, even when she's not around all the time, and somebody who isn't controlling, because I did have my housekeeper around who was controlling and just a very low quality person, the things she would say, and this attitude that this dominant attitude, this dominant, disrespectful attitude that people have, I just don't get it, but I don't respect it, and I'm not going to tolerate it. I do tolerate it. Actually, I do tolerate it. And it's what breaks down my spirit. And yet I tolerate it because that's what I learned I had to do, and that's the way my family treated me. My very, very dysfunctional, very, very angry family. And in my family, my parents hated each other. And in my family, my mother was so jealous of her sister because her sister's marriage was just so good. And my aunt and uncle are best friends, and my mother hated my dad, and she was hateful and angry, and my brother was out of control at a young age and suicidal and angry, and everybody was angry, and all this shit rolled downhill to the youngest member of the family, which was me. And my brother used to beat me up. My brother used to drown me. Or, well, obviously he didn't drown me, but he almost did. He played with my life he showed me many times that he held my life in his hands, and that he controlled, literally, he controlled whether I lived or died. And he was very lucky, and I was very lucky, that one of those times he didn't hold me underwater too long. Because if I inhaled, it was over. You know, he was, but anyway, and my mother, it was just hatred and not speaking to me, and when she did speak to me, most of the time she wouldn't speak to me. Most of the time she was so angry she wouldn't even converse with me. But she just exuded this disapproval and this criticism and this hatred, and when she was speaking to me, she would say some of the most awful things to me. And she was such a bully. My brother and my mother, they're like this, and they've been so mean to me for so many years, and it took me a long time to realize that, I'm sorry, this camera work is terrible, but it took me forever to realize that I wasn't the one instigating it, and yeah, I reacted. I wasn't allowed to react. I wasn't even allowed to feel upset when my brother would insult me. Even if I looked upset, my mother would scream at me, or tell me that I was out of line, I was wrong. Even for me to feel that way, she wouldn't let me feel how I felt, even if I didn't react. And then I would react, because she controlled me. They controlled everything about me. They tried to. And I fought like hell to break out of that control, and I did not succeed. I did not succeed. I am such a broken person. Every day of my life is just like emotional torture. Just about every single day. Maybe not every day, but it's rare when I'm not just feeling completely broken inside. And I'm a magnet. I'm a magnet for people who bully me. I am a magnet for bullies. I'm a magnet for mean people. And I realized it's because I'm so broken and I'm so desperate. And in a way, people see me as very negative. Especially in the last several years. Especially since my dad died. But they see me as negative, and they don't want to be bothered, or they don't know how to react, and so they just don't, people don't care. They just don't care. They don't care. People don't care. They've got their own lives. They've got their own problems. And so when I've reached out to places, I have tried so many times to reach out to places because I don't know how to get my life in any direction that is on track. I'm receiving disability. I want to get off of disability. I want to get rid of the disability I have, but I at least want to not feel this tremendous pain, this emotional pain. The physical pain is another story. I don't want to feel that either, obviously. But every place I've turned to, because I've been so broken, because I've broken down in front of them, because I've ranted, I guess, or, rambled on, and I don't know. They've bullied me further. They've abused me further. And I talk about that a lot, and see, to some people that's very negative. And it is, sort of, but I'd talk about positive stuff if positive stuff was coming in. And I keep trying to get to a point where I can get positive stuff to come in, but I don't know how to do that from a position of somebody who is treated like crap by my family, by the people I've reached out to for help, the agencies I've reached out to for help. I mean, I'm really stuck. I see no way to get out of this trap of pain. Because every agency I've turned to that's supposed to help doesn't help. They just bully me more and they just abuse me further. And then I'm more wounded, and you know, what do you do then? I mean, you just got more pain, and everybody expects you to keep it to yourself. Everybody expects you to keep all this pain inside and not say anything. Don't say anything, because they don't want to hear it. I mean, nobody wants to hear about your pain. I actually have a friend who's going through hell right now. Her life has spun so out of control, and she is learning the devastating lesson in life that people will not be there for you. No matter how much you're hurting, no matter what terrible thing happened in your life was done to you, people don't care. People are not going to be there for you. The very people you call you friends will turn their backs on you when you need them the most. Because it's inconvenient to help. It's inconvenient to show them care. Maybe it's punishment to you. I don't know. Maybe sometimes they don't know because they've got so much crap in their own life. I mean, I do believe to a degree that's true. But I also know a whole lot of people who just don't give a shit. No, I care about this friend. I do. We've had our squabbles, like any friendship, but we haven't even known each other that long, to tell you the truth, but I understand her because, in a lot of ways, she's a lot like me. We came from very similar backgrounds, a lot of pain, a lot of abuse. And we were just, I don't know, but we both overrode that, and we overrode the anger, and became very kind, loving people who desired to help people, who reached out and helped people. She and I both have housed numerous homeless people, trying to help people who didn't have a home, who didn't have a place to live. She and I both have been homeless, and she and I both know how hard it is to have no place to call home. I don't know it as painfully as some people. That's true, because some people... I have a very cruel mother, but that mother does have a sense of duty, which, in the end, she'll pull out of her hat of tricks, you know? So, I have that. I do have that. And I don't know that's something I have that some people don't, but that same thing that I have is the thing that has devastated me the most, and that's a mother who didn't have the capacity to love, a mother who was so angry and didn't feel love coming in to her, in her marriage, in her life, just felt jealous, and just felt, I don't know, unloved, and she had no love to give. Well, she did, though. I mean, she gives love to my brother, but my brother, she tells me I'm like my dad. I remind her of my dad. And I guess that makes me unlovable. And not just that. I've got my own problems. I've had them since I was a kid. But I have always been unlovable to that woman. And she won't say that. Exactly. Not that way. but she'll say a hell of a lot of other stuff. And she has turned every relative I have against my father. Or tried to, although it didn't work as well with him. But she also turned every relative I have against me. And because I withdrew, I think, and isolated, and they didn't see my side, my relatives hate me. My mother's friends hate me. My mother's neighbors hate me. They all hear about me, and they all hear bad things about me. Everybody she talks to, she was always complaining about my dad. Even strangers, it was ridiculous. She was so disrespectful. So unloving, so unkind, so hateful. My father spent his life sleeping just to get away from her. He would sleep during the day, and then when she would sleep at night, he would get up and roam. And then she would complain about him endlessly to the kids, us kids, the two of us. And if I didn't hate him along with her, she'd be angry at me. So, but whatever. So, I'm still trying to get back to that revelation that I had. And I keep wandering off into the same misery that I'm just filled with it. But like I said, I have a roommate, a housemate, for a little bit. And she's just staying here for a couple of weeks. That's the plan. She has a dog. It's not really her dog. It's sort of a friend of hers, somebody we both knew. But that woman takes very poor care of the dog. So this housemate of mine is caring for that dog, a beagle. And having a human in the house, for me, knowing that there's somebody around to talk to just communicate with, instead of being alone and isolated all the time, is so empowering. I mean, it's, instead of just zoning out and disappearing inside myself and vegging out and just disappearing, I'm just like huddling into darkness. I find myself happy to have somebody to talk to, happy to have somebody to communicate with, to converse with, somebody who treats me like a friend, not somebody who tries to control me. She's not controlling. And I just attract controlling people with this vulnerability I have, this weakness and vulnerability that comes from pain and from never really feeling love, and never I never learned. What I learned was that I was a terrible person. I was a terrible child. I was a bad child. I was inherently bad. And there was nothing I could do. Nothing I did, neither A nor B nor C, whatever options I had, would ever, it didn't matter what I did, or if I did nothing at all, because I was still going to get punished. I was still going to be treated as though I was nothing. That's the gift my mother gave me. They adopted me. They took me. They took me. And then they destroyed me with their hatred and their anger. told myself I was going to get through this damn video and not cry. So, my dog, Tucker, he's suffering with loneliness too. My loneliness is contagious. And I love him, truly. I try. Well, this dog, Veda, who is in the house, this beagle, has just brought him to life. Just having another dog around has brought him to life. Has made him happy. He's wagging his tail again. He's happy. He's so excited. He wants to play. She refuses to play with him. She refuses to have anything to do with him. She snarls at him if he gets around her. I feel so sorry for him. And I have decided that I'm getting a second dog, and as irresponsible as that is, because I'm very cautious about things a lot of times. I don't act because I think it's a bad idea, because I can see the problems that lie ahead. And one of them is I'll never have enough money, probably, to feel like I can just put it out for the veterinary care of a second dog. It always needs to go someplace else. Always. I mean, really. And so I haven't gotten a second dog. Although I wanted that for him. And, you know, I mean, a family of 3, myself and 2 dogs. I mean, that idea appeals to me. But especially because I know he's so lonely, and I'm watching my dog, my little... To me, he's my child. And I'm watching him suffer with the same loneliness I feel. A connection that I can't feel for him, which is, and he can't feel for me. And that's the companionship of somebody like me, and somebody for him like him. So I am getting a second dog. And I know when my mother hears about that, there's going to be more disapproval coming my way. And there's going to be, yeah, I'm 45 and everything hinges around my mother. And that is actually, I want to break that. I don't mean I don't want my mother in my life. I do. I can't help it. I just don't want the hatefulness of my mother, which is 95% of her. I want the 5%, the 3%, whatever it is, that tiny percent that's nice to me, that really only ever emerges when somebody else is around to see, but... And then she acts like I'm worth talking to, treating like human. She got married a couple years ago. My brother was furious. He did not. My dad died 5 years ago. That itself was a terrible story. A terrible, terrible thing. Devastating. I'm laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm just trying not to cry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying not to cry. I can do this. I can do it. You know? I mean, in a way, I have been better. Lately. I have felt better lately. And not having gotten to the pharmacy, I can tell, is catching up with me. My pain is bad right now. But my depression is worse too, and those go hand in hand. It's my own fault for not getting out there and going to the pharmacy. So I've got to try to get there tomorrow. It's so hard. I don't know why it's so hard. But, what was I talking about? Oh, my mom had gotten married to this guy named Bill, and my brother was furious about it. He didn't want the family dynamic to change. The family dynamic is, right now, whenever my brother, who is coming in like 1 or 2 weeks, him and his wife and his daughter, when they come, my mother and my brother stop speaking to me. It always happens the same way. One of two roots, but the main one is my brother starts insulting me. Or he starts ordering me around while he says at the same time, don't tell me what to do. This is what my brother says. Don't tell me what to do. I don't like it when people tell me what to do. But my brother tells me what to do all the time. He tells me what to do. He tells me what I'm allowed to think, what I'm allowed to feel, what I'm allowed to believe. And if I don't agree with him, he gets angry. And if he gets angry, he goes and he pouts. He goes into his room and he closes the door and he pouts and he sulks. And you know what? My mother gets angry at me because I upset my brother. Not because I did anything wrong. Not that I did anything. Just that that's her reaction to my brother going off and pouting, is that I upset my brother. That's not the usual case. Usually it works out where my brother insults me, or he is demanding and mean, and he does it repeatedly, tells me everything I do is wrong. He's so great at telling you how everything you do is wrong. I even went out to help him shovel one day, and as soon as I go out there to help him shovel so he doesn't have to shovel the snow alone, he starts telling me I'm holding the fucking shovel wrong, and I'm scooping the fucking snow wrong. It was one of the few times I just said, shut the... Yeah, I'm gonna bleep myself now, right? I just said, shut up. You do what you're doing, I'll do what I'm doing, and we don't have to talk to each other. I do have that strength sometimes, but it weakens and it crumbles after a couple of hits, after he does a couple of those. Like the time he came up, and this was my previous dog, Ben. I'd just gotten him. Ben was a little puppy, just, a couple months old. He was a tiny little puppy. Or maybe he was a little older than that. He was no more than 6 months old, though. Still, very, very young puppy. My brother comes up, and the first thing he says to me when he sees me is that I'm a bad mother to Ben, because Ben is so hyper. Because he's running around, barking. Well, yeah, he's a freaking puppy. He's a shelty puppy. That's what they do. If he wasn't doing that, I'd be worried that he wasn't healthy. My brother, first thing he says when he sees me is, what a bad mother I am to that dog, because I don't have him under control. Because he's running around and he's barking, and I don't have control of him. And I took that. I took it. I didn't get angry. Well, I did. That got my cockles up. But I didn't react, because I don't react on the first blow. The second or third blow. It's usually the third blow. The third thing he says. And you can see me just getting angry. And my mother somehow is always right there then. And this is what my mother does. As soon as I start to show any anger, I don't have to do anything. I just have to look angry or look hurt. And she says, don't you dare. Don't you dare act out. And the one time I actually tried to reason with my brother, tried to say, instead of getting angry, because I asked my mom many times, Mom, before my brother would come, instead of getting angry with me, if you see me starting to get angry, help me. Pull me aside and say, Polly, calm down. Don't let him get your goat. I begged her. One time she even prayed with me that she would be nice, that she wouldn't get angry with me, and she wouldn't be mean, and she wouldn't be hateful to me when he came. And she prayed it, and we talked about it. I begged her. But as soon as he came, and I told her I was going to stay downstairs, I wasn't going to go up there immediately. Well, my brother immediately complained that I wasn't up there to greet them. And my mother, who had prayed, I remember she was sitting on the top of the stairs, I was at the bottom, and we were just talking, with the stairway between us, but she sat up there and prayed out loud to God that this time she wouldn't hurt me, the way I felt, the way I told her I was hurting, that she wouldn't, that she would be kind and she wouldn't hurt me, and she, she wouldn't get angry with me. He came. First thing he did was complain about me not being up there, and my mother came down and scolded me very angrily with this anger, this hostility, this very rageful hostility that she had, and told me how I should have been up there to greet them when they got there, and how Todd was all offended and hurt that I wasn't up there to greet them when they came there. And then, which I had discussed with her ahead of time, and she said, you know, that's probably a good idea. I said, if things get bad, I don't want to get out of control, because I get out of control. If I lose my temper, everybody's angry with me. I actually attempted suicide like 3 years ago after an episode. My brother accosting me and my mother getting angry with me, and my hormones had gotten into play at that time, and I actually tried to drive into a tree, and I was actually hospitalized for a length of time, and devastated, and I didn't want all that to happen again, and I didn't want them to be angry, and I didn't want to anger them, and there was no option for me. There is no option. My mother had absolutely, she would leave me with no options. Every single thing I did was wrong. No matter what I did, if I took it, I was wrong. If I looked angry, I was wrong. If I acted out, I was wrong. If I left, I was wrong. And I told her that time, you know, if things get out of control, I'm going to leave. And I had already set up that I was going to stay at a respite house. I'd worked that out through our community mental health. I talked with her about it very, very calmly that day before they got there. And she said she thought it was probably a good idea, to keep something from happening that time. And so after she came down and yelled at me because I hadn't been up there to greet them, I stayed in my room, and then I left silently after dark so that we wouldn't encounter each other. I went around the back way so that we wouldn't encounter each other and nothing would happen, and he wouldn't inflame me and I wouldn't blow up, and we wouldn't have this big family thing that happens every time that they blame me for it. I just, I pursued another option, which was to just remove myself from it. And I told her ahead of time I would do it. And I did it. And I went and I stayed in the respite house. And then when I called her the day that he was supposed to have left, she wouldn't speak to me because I hadn't stayed. She was angry because I left, and she didn't want me to come home. And worse, well, I don't know if it's worse, but it's just as bad. She actually called my therapist and told him what happened and said she didn't know what to do with me. And she ranted and raved to my psychologist, who initially took her side. But then I said to him, I was able to reason with him and say, it's not a very safe feeling to have my psychologist listening to my mother complain about me and have my psychologist take her side. That's, and he was like, I hear what you're saying. He this long message, actually, I hear what you're saying. He was fair. But she didn't want me to come home. She didn't speak to me when I got home. She wasn't speaking to me because I left, because I sought to protect myself. And the reason she did that is because I don't have any rights as a human being, as her daughter, as who I am, as a human being, as anybody. I have no rights. As a family member in that family, I have no rights. I don't have the right to be treated with respect. I don't have the right to get angry when that happens. I don't have the right to become hurt when that happens and I'm treated disrespectfully. And on top of it, she says stuff to me that told me that I told her that when my brother comes, I feel like I lose my mother. I don't have a mother. Not that I feel like it when he's there, or not there, but it's even worse. It's even magnified when he is there. So I told my mom, and I was in tears. I said, I don't have a mom. My brother comes and he takes my mother away. And she said to me, she said, well, your brother hasn't had a mother since he was 7 years old. Meaning, since they adopted me. So as an infant, an adopted infant, I was ruining my brother's life from the moment they adopted me. And that is exactly how she treated me. And my dad, a lot of times, he wasn't as bad, but he was ruined. His life was destroyed by her hatred and her anger and her cruelty and her hostility. You can't imagine how hostile that family was. I guess you can. There are others out there. Very hostile, angry family. Okay, so I did it again. I just did it again, didn't I? Anyway, I'm getting a second dog. And Tucker, my boy, is going to have a companion. And I decided that I also am going to have a housemate. I'm going to have a housemate. Not somebody controlling, not somebody abusive. Hopefully. Maybe I'll make this housemate a permanent thing. She does want to stay here. It's got to work out with the dogs, though, because her dog, the dog she's caring for, won't have anything to do with Tucker, and that is not okay by me. That is not going to be the second dog that I can have. We can have 2 dogs in a household, per the rules here. The second dog is not going to be a dog that won't have anything to do with Tucker, with my dog. That is not going to happen. So, I'm going to get a compatible dog, a rescue dog, and screw what my mother thinks. That's what I feel right now. But somehow when she starts in on her barrage, and worse when she doesn't speak to me, and it's just, I retreat, I retract, I become a small child. I actually take on the demeanor of a small child. I retreat, I become an introvert. And I don't know how to keep that from happening. But I never give up. People look at me as a weakling. They look at me as weak and vulnerable and pathetic. And I am. I'm all those things. I am. But I'm also very strong because I'm still here. 45 years of this cruelty. 45 years of being treated cruelly by virtually everybody that I have contact with. And a lot of that because I have retreated. I've been a wounded pup in the corner. Afraid of people, afraid to reach out. 45 years, the majority of it, controlling hostile people, inputting negative pain, cruelty, meanness into my spirit with no kind people reaching out to me, no kindness coming back in, and these people who tell me I'm negative. Hell yeah, I guess so. But I don't have any positive coming in, and they sure aren't there. They're not there to help me. They're not there to say I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be there for you. No, in fact, quite a few of those people bully me too. Not all of them. Some of them just, they stay away. They avoid me. They'll talk to me if they see me. And they'll be nice. They'll be polite. But they keep their distance because, hey, I am an emotional drain on people. My pain is so great. It's too much for anybody else to bear. It's my pain, mine alone to bear. And I have for 45 years. And I guess I will continue to do that. I would love for an agency to help me somehow. Some helping agency that's supposed to help people. Community mental health. Disability. CMH. These are the places I've turned to. Or DHS. And I think their discomfort at the tremendous pain I'm in, and my inability to get it out and convey it, is so uncomfortable for them that they abuse me further. They are bullies. They are cruel. It's a tremendous problem with the system. The people who are supposed to help, the agencies who are supposed to help, those agencies are manned by human beings, and those human beings, when they become angry or when they feel like, when they're put in a position like that and they become angry with you, or they start arguing with you, or they won't help you, and you expect them to help you and they won't help you, you know, you don't get the helps of the agency. You don't get the benefits of the agency that's there to help you, because the individual who is supposed to be working with you, that one-on-one person from the agency, won't help you. It's a control thing. It's a punishment. So, anyway. But I am getting a dog. I'm getting a second dog. And I'm going to make my dog happy. I'm going to give him what I don't have, which is, well, what I haven't had. I do right now. This housemate I have, maybe this will work out. But I'm going to give him that too. So, and I'm going to have to just take whatever disapproval and criticism comes my way. And I hope that I can, because I don't usually take it very well. I don't take it very gracefully. Anyway. Just so much pain. I'm just trying to get it out. Got my fan running on high in the background because it's hot in here, so I'm not even sure this is picking up. My friend, I told you, who is suffering so badly right now, everything has flipped in her life. She has a terrible family situation too. She also had a family wedding that she wasn't invited to and wasn't allowed to attend, but she did. My mother wouldn't let me go to her wedding. I wasn't allowed to go. She didn't want me there. Well, my friend, her sister, got married, and she wasn't wanted there. Worse, she showed up anyway, and she wasn't allowed to sit with the family. They wouldn't even let her sit with them. And then they had family pictures taken, and she was the only one who wasn't allowed to be in the family picture. She wasn't allowed to be in her own family's family picture. How the hell fucked up is that? I could see my mom doing that. I kind of could see her doing that. I don't know. I mean, she wouldn't let me go to her wedding. She wouldn't let me attend it. She didn't want me there. She was angry at me. But whether she wouldn't even let me be in the family photo, I don't know. I mean, she paid for my brother to go. She flew my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece down to Florida for her wedding. I wasn't allowed to be there. I was the one who approved of her husband. I wasn't the one. My brother was the one who said, if you marry him, I'll never speak to you again. My brother could get away with murder. My brother almost did get away with murder. Me, I'm the bad one. I'm the sweetest kid in the world. I was. Sweetest kid in the world, but to her, I was never good enough. I wasn't worthy of kindness. Because she saw children, she saw her role as to make children bend to her will, to make them be obedient. Their job was to be obedient always. Not to become independent adults, not to be able to grow and in a supportive environment. Their job was to bend to her will and to be subservient to her. And I am the pathetic member of my family, of my distant family, my relatives. I have a cousin. I am so unstable. I am so divided from my mother. My mother has said such horrible things about me that my cousin, when she comes, I'm not allowed to be around her two daughters without supervision. I mean, without somebody right there. Because I don't know what they think. I don't know what my mother told them about me. I've never committed a violent act in my entire life. I mean, to myself, yeah. But to anybody else, never. I mean, I'm so gentle. If a spider's inside, I take the spider outside. I let it go. If there's a mouse, if I catch a mouse, I live trap a mouse and I let it go in the park. And I know that's stupid, but I can't take a life. I won't. I'm not going to do it. I'm not taking a life. Not my job. Not my spirit. I'm gentle. And the thing that sucks is that 45 years wasted, 45 years gone, and I haven't amounted to anything. I haven't amounted to anything. My dad even told me that one time. You haven't amounted to a hill of beans. Or actually, I think he said you'll never amount to a hill of beans. Yeah, you'll never amount to a hill of beans. He was angry. It's different. I mean, he could say some really cruel things. But at least it was in anger. You know, at least it was in the moment, in the heat of anger. My mother, well, she's always angry, so maybe it is with her too. Anyway, I feel better now that you all are miserable out there, maybe thinking about your own family situations and how much it sucks and how vapid it is and how family destroys our lives and smothers us. And now that you all feel like shit, I feel a lot better. Thank you. I am a good person. I know that. I have something that very few people I know have. And that's kindness and compassion. And even when these soul-sapping vampires try to take it from me, they can't. Because I won't let them. These people who are so shallow, or these people who are so cruel, and they see me as a pathetic weakling, and yet I am so stubborn and I am so strong that I will not let them steal my kindness, my compassion for other people. Well, maybe it's not showing tonight. But I am strong. And you know what? I like who I am. I really like who I am. If they like who they are, those people, not everybody, but the people I'm referring to, if they like who they are, then they need to get a different gauge. Because some of the people I know, some of the people who treat me like crap, treat other people like crap, you know. Those people, I have no respect for them. They have no respect for me, but they base it on things that don't have anything to do with character, because if it has to do with character, I am way ahead. I am way ahead of the game on that. When it comes to character, I am way ahead of the game. And I have, in some ways, a lot more security in myself than they have, because I don't feel the need to hurt somebody else's feelings to make me feel better. That wouldn't make me feel better. Defending somebody else, that makes me feel better. Hurting somebody else's feelings would just make me feel bad. But these people, I mean, some of them, they're so shallow and they're so unkind, and they actually try to hurt you. And that's a weakness. These people you see hating in these comments on YouTube, these ridiculous comments they make, these ridiculous, horrible comments, they actually don't hurt me at all. Because those people are showing their weakness. They're proving how weak they are. So if they, I've been told I'm weak. I've been told here on YouTube I'm weak, I should die, I should commit suicide. They tell people that all the time. Anybody who says that to somebody, they have a lot of growing up to do. They have a lot of soul searching that needs to be done. They have a lot of work to do on themselves. And they must be extremely insecure that the only way that they can build themselves up is to tear somebody else down. So, if they're disrespectful of me, if they disrespect me, well, I'm disrespecting them right back. Because I like who I am. I like the way I am. I like what I stand for. I am a good person. I am a kind person. I have my heart in the right place. Maybe my heart's a little too big. Maybe everything. But I would still rather be kind and loving than to be popular or wealthy or beautiful or thin or famous. I would rather be a decent person who makes people feel good about themselves. I'd rather be a decent person who doesn't try to make people feel bad, doesn't try to hurt people, doesn't try to wound them or bring them down. I guess. I'm just ranting. I'm just ranting. But I just wanted to say that, you know? I am weak a lot of times. I'm in tears a lot of times. I've been told I'm weak, I need to get a life, I need to stop complaining, I need to do this, I need to do that. Well, when I get on YouTube, I do that for a very specific reason, because it's an outlet. It's an outlet to express my pain, and if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch it. If you want to say something cruel to me in the comments, okay, but that's not going to hurt me. If you were my mother, it would hurt me. If you were my brother, it would hurt me. Well, my mother. My brother, I don't know. But my mother, yeah. If you're my mother, you can hurt me. But as some stranger out there who just chooses to be cruel, you look weak. You look pathetic. And you prove it. You're not even smart enough to keep it to yourself. You know, if you're going to be a terrible person, you might want to hide it from the world so that they don't look down on you. But you're not smart enough to do that. No. No, you just like walk into a YouTube comment or a chat room or, post something and say, I'm an asshole. I'm just going to show you. I'm an asshole. Right now, I'm going to prove it to you so that you don't take me seriously. That's what they do. Thank God they're so stupid. Just thank God they're that stupid. Because otherwise we might not know. We might not know to not take them seriously. We might actually think they were a decent human being and capable of reasoning and thought and, putting forth the effort to actually be a decent human being, a moral human being. So, those people, when they hate on you, when they hate on us, they're doing us all a favor by outing themselves as assholes. Remember that. Remember that. It's a great way to look at it. It's true. And it gives them no power whatsoever. Those people do not hurt me. They just look stupid. So, I know this is different than any other video I've put out there. I'm ranting the hell out. I'm in a lot of pain. That's probably the main reason. And just, ignore me if you want. Leave a bad comment if you want. Leave a nice comment if you want. Or, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. You do what you want to do. I'm out.